Venkat and Mahesh. Here we are again. How many, 8 years?
8 years.
8 years. It was March. In fact, we started talking about taking a trip in February of 2014. So what did you have in mind? Because I know we wanted to initially visit all YI chapters, but that quickly got jumped. So what was the thought behind Highway to Swadesh?
Well, I think the thought was more, the idea was to capture India in a single canvas, right? So we've been traveling across India. We all love this beautiful country. But then what happens is you look at parts of India in a year, in the beginning of a year, then you'll see another part of India at a different time. By then, that part of India has changed, right? So the whole idea was, can we look at India in a single canvas? Travel all over India and actually capture it in a canvas. That was the idea. But then why that idea? Right? Why? That was because, and we also did that to a great part, which was, we said we wanted to really understand not just India, but also understand the people who we normally don't encounter, which is people in the middle and the bottom of the economic pyramid, right? So that was the whole idea. The idea was on trying to understand life of people who are in the middle and bottom of India, who make bulk of our population. And then we want to do that also in a 60-day canvas. So you can really say, this is what India was in 2014. Actually speaking, we are probably one of the few people who can really say that we understand India in 2014. And that's a great point of reference.
Yes,
right?
Of course.
Yeah.
Venkat, when he asked you to come, you had never been outside of Tamil Nadu.
Never.
So what was it like?
The information I got is it's only for 15 days. And I don't know what I'm going to do on that time. So when I hopped into I thought really am I going to do this for 50 days or something? Then I thought that never in my lifetime I'm going to be travel alone or with someone. So this is the chance. So let me get into that. That's the inspiration I got to jump into, and I really made it out with you guys.
With the three crazies.
Yeah, I would not have done this before, in a separate or alone, right? So I feel that's good.
Yeah, no, I thought that was the most unique thing about the group, the four of us, because I think between you, me, and Edgy, we knew all kinds of people everywhere.
Yeah.
And that really made it, I think, as much as we were on the journey, all those people who were hosting us and, people who were supporting us, somebody would kind of suggest, Pradyut said, go to Unnakoti, or, we were in, Prakash took us to meet the Mangalyas. I think there were people everywhere, right, who just came together to support our learning from the journey. They made it richer, in some way.
Yeah. In fact, I would say that initially it was between, at least, he was a quiet guy. He was just watching us and he was, kind of enjoying the game. But between the three of us, I think the first 15 days was, who knows India better? I know more, you know more, But then I think in about 15 days, it all kind of settled down.
We all became quiet.
And then India took us, right? We got engulfed by India.
Yeah, somebody was mainly focusing on roads, somebody was focusing only on capturing things, somebody was doing the interviews, so that's totally a mixed.
Yes.
And we had many fights.
And we had many and there were things in that car that should never step out of that car. The car, we called it the Beast.
The Beast.
But I think, if I were to ask you, what was your most memorable moment from that trip?
Okay, so the most memorable moment obviously must have been forgotten. Extremely pleasant woman in Assam, who taught us
Healthcare, about health insurance.
about the health insurance. And then she said, give people accommodation, give people simple things. They're not looking at complicated things. She put some real sense into us. That's one memorable moment. That was a very, very, very amazing point for me. And another, I've traveled all over India. One of the most astonishing sights for me, right, was Unakoti.
Yeah, Unnakoti.
That whole walk, getting into that little thing and then seeing that huge, bas reliefs was, and then seeing that in Angkor Wat.
Yeah, same.
Yeah, exactly, in Angkor Wat. My
was
God,
amazed, like,
amazing, amazing.
Same, like-
It is Camera, it is.
Yeah,
It is.
it's fascinating. And for you, what
Fascinating.
was the most memorable
My
moment?
memorable is always like I feel about I miss that from food like so I was always trying to keeping off with potatoes, jalebis. And after reaching Coimbatore, we were driving up to Ooty from Mettupalayam. That was the first meal we had in the lunch in the Andhra meals. That was, you people were laughing at me like I totally spread with the Bhairavi food.
You
That
were
is
so
like, I was
happy.
like happy after 50 days that I'm going to eat today. Like, so that was nice.
Yeah.
And actually missed a lot of food. Like, so all kind of foods we tried.
But
It's
for me,
amazing.
I think, this home tribe guys, who kept us in their homes at night.
In
And they
Nagaland.
must have driven like what, 4 hours, 3 hours to reach us to the Konyak tribes, to Mon. What is it, 3 hours through the
Yeah.
jungles?
Yeah.
And I was just amazed that they don't know who we are.
Yeah.
They did not ask us for money. We didn't pay them for the fuel also of the car. They kept us in their home. They took us to safety the next day. And they didn't ask money like to take us there. I came back from that and I said, you cannot find this in any other place in the world.
Yeah.
So that was like really, really, and then the Mangadiyars,
Yeah.
those 5 generations.
Yeah.
And at some point the lights went, no?
Exactly.
There was no electricity. And it was dark and we were sitting in the charpai and it's middle of summer, right? And it was so beautiful. But I'll never forget, and since Edgy is not here, I still remember you gave us, you called us mad because at 2 p.m. in the middle of Indian summer, Edgy and I went on a camel ride on the Thar
I
Desert.
know.
I remember that.
I know.
Venkat came to picture and you said, only you 2 stupid people, there'll be nobody on those altitudes. And there was
That was-
nobody.
yeah.
But we went and we took these crazy pictures. So you should have come with us.
We must have had a fight.
So, any particular state or place that you really thought was ahead of the rest of the country?
Like for me, it was like for me, it was all the same. Like I thought, that was the time we were exploring. Like that was for me, it's the first time, so I don't find any difference. But most the tribes were getting ahead of life.
Yeah.
All the places.
Yeah.
that is
Moving
the-
on.
Yeah. So that's a very good point you made. It just reminds me. I think the state which was ahead of because ahead is not economically ahead. Ahead is where you kind of accommodate everybody and you give space. How well the community works, right? I thought Mizoram was the best.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Aizawl.
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 No
Mizoram,
honking.
Mizoram was the best.
They were not
People,
speaking
a car stops
No,
10
so
feet away
clean.
from people. Nobody rushes. They allow right of way for the
Yeah.
people who are crossing.
No overtaking.
I did not see that anywhere else in India. Not even in Kerala.
Yeah.
Not even in
That is true.
Himachal Pradesh. That's another great state. Himachal Pradesh is
Himachal
another
was also
very
quite
very
clean, yeah.
fabulous state.
Yeah, toilets were clean, ask
Yeah,
me.
yeah.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
it was Kerala and Himachal Pradesh were the only 2 states where I didn't have to ask for a bush stop. That was
Okay.
my code word, right?
Yeah.
I wanted to go to the
Yeah.
bathroom. I would say bush stop. But if people wanted to do the kind of drive like 4 of us did, what would be your advice?
If they have to do this,
If they have to do what we did.
I think my advice would be to firstly do it. Don't have an agenda. Stop at 4:30 and look for a place to stay. And but I think everybody has to do it, because there's something about India, which is India is a microcosm of the world, right? So when you travel across India, so much happens to you, and you have to be an Indian to travel. And this is something which will occur only to Indians,
Yeah.
where you see the whole microcosm of entire world, with all its conflicts, with all its paradoxes, the rich and the poor, and the good and the bad and the ugly, tensions between the states, vast differences between the states. So it's a real microcosm of the world. That's important. Second thing is, myself and Venkat have now been traveling a lot to other countries. We spend, and ours is like long trips. So when we go to Cambodia, we spend 30 days in Cambodia. We went to Tanzania. He spent about 40 days in Tanzania.
Wow.
So we spent very long time in each. Colombia, I was there in Colombia for about a month. Vietnam. So, and Laos. So staying in all these countries, and China, of course, what I'm beginning to believe is, like, there is a friend of mine who said something which resonates. What she said was, she's a space scientist, right? She's a NASA space scientist, rocket person. She said once was this, when we were talking about countries, which country is better and all that, she said only one thing. She said, look, there is only one spaceship in this universe, and it's called planet Earth. It belongs to all of us equally. There could be somebody who's in the tail end of the aircraft. There could be somebody who's in the cockpit, but we've got only one. There's only one. And it stops there. Now the point I'm trying to make is that if you travel and digest India, if you understand India in a 60-day canvas, there's something to it. You understand India only when you capture it in a time warp. Otherwise, you will not understand India.
Because it's in a continuum.
Exactly, because you
Constantly evolving.
exactly it's and it's very dynamically, it's very fastly evolving. Now, once you get that, and then you travel across the world, and you start comparing India with another country, you really understand what inclusivity is. Both of us, when we go to Cambodia, we are very, 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 we love Cambodians. We go to Tanzania, we love Tanzanians. We go to Colombia, we love Colombians. And I'm saying that that's actually coming in many ways because we kind of have really accepted the India as a country. Right? The diversity of India is a microcosm of the world. When you appreciate your inclusive, that you are one, the unity and diversity, it's such a cliche kind of a statement, but you really would understand only if you do something like Highway to Swades.
Yeah.
It's a big, big, big word, actually. And you understand, and that's for the whole world, Bhairavi. As you travel now and stay for a long time in another country, I'll tell you something, you kind of ooze out with passion and emotions. You just sit and enjoy that there is another beautiful country and another fantastic people.
And we have this, right? So we have this notion of Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam. It's like there and somewhere, like those home tribe people. I mean,
Exactly.
It's just, this is not something we have to be taught. It's not something from the outside. It's, here people have, you remember that Cedric, and he said as soon as he entered India, he felt so welcome and happy.
I got all the time on the earth.
Moreover, to compare with other countries, so when you see the India, always, the people are welcoming, smiley faces, and even starting with farmer or poor people, it doesn't matter it's a slum or anything. We see all over the place. We don't see much in other countries. So only in India you can see that people. The first day they were combing your hair, and second day put some money and why don't you comb your hair, and these kind of things, right? You don't see in other countries.
No, they
People
don't
touch
touch
You will not see this in other countries.
Which I think
They don't touch you.
Which I think is so gorgeous. I was talking to someone about inclusion, and the lens that India uses for inclusion is that I told them you call it tolerance.
Then
We call it
I've taken that. I've stolen that from you.
And I feel like there is a difference,
Yeah.
between tolerance and
There
acceptance.
is. Yeah.
Tolerance still means you're othering the person, you're tolerating them. Acceptance means we are all here together. This belongs to everybody. And I think inherently, like intuitively, Indians just get it.
Yeah.
Because of our family system, our tribe system, our community system, we just get it.
Yeah.
And everybody is welcome into it. So I don't think if that acceptance was not there, all the things that we saw of people coming over the centuries and coming to study or coming to conquer, coming to trade, this story would not be complete if that acceptance was not there. So I think in today's world, that's such a big thing to have. I don't know how many countries have it.
That's a very interesting thing. You just mentioned about another one, no, about touching. That's a very important thing
Yeah.
because
As Indians, we touch all the
cultures
time.
don't touch. Cultures don't touch. They don't touch outsiders. Okay, and touching is not. And if you think about it for a while, only when you have a sense of the same species, you can touch.
Yes.
Right? So the big question is, do Indians really feel all human beings are? Is this biological? I
I
don't
don't
know.
know. It's somewhere intuitive because everywhere we went, women just wanted to
Yeah, everybody
comb
touches.
my hair
Yeah,
and people
yeah.
just wanted
Like,
to hold
people
it.
touch.
When you go to other places, right?
Yes,
people,
touch.
Touch.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
people offer you food.
Yes, yes.
They don't feed you, right?
Yes.
But there were one lady was
Yes.
feeding AG the food,
Yes,
right?
yes,
She was
yes.
eating that.
Yeah.
AG was asking.
Yeah.
And actually, she
Yeah.
felt
She
that.
just take
Yeah,
her
sure,
food
she
and
did.
give
It
it
doesn't
to her.
happen in anywhere
No,
of the
not
country,
at
right?
all.
Only you can feel it
Not
in
at
India.
all.
Yeah.
So this is the difference
Yeah.
between
Yeah,
the
and,
big
and I think that's why more and more people, especially Indians, should also travel their own country
Yeah.
because
Exactly.
I think when you do, then you know where you are compared to where.
Yeah.
I think that confusion is no more there than that question mark, no, whether we'll sail through or not, because you just know it. Once you've done this, oh, we're gonna make it. Okay? I mean, of course, so Edgy on the trip would many times say, we're gonna split apart. And you would say, no, LG, no, we haven't done that. So, of course, there are both sides of stories, but I think, thank you so much.
Welcome.
Mahesh,
Thank you
Venkat.
for giving this opportunity for us to travel also.
I hope we do it again.
Yes.
It's time for another Highway to Swades. Maybe a 60-day vlog again.
Yeah, why
See
not?
what has changed.
Yeah.
Because I think you're right, 2014 was a very good reference.
Yeah.
Very, very
Yeah.
basic.
Yeah, and it's a jump off point, right?
It is a jump off
Yeah,
point, yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, great.